अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So we'll do the Mangalacharan of Dravya Sangra also. जीवम जीवम दौवम जिणवरवसेण जैननी दीठम देविंद विंद वंदम वंदे तम सौवदा शिरसा। Sri Nemi Chandra Siddhanti Dev has written this Dravya Sangra, and we were on to we are going to start the second chapter. In the first chapter, we discussed about soul and non-soul elements. So as you know that soul and non-soul are substance element, and the rest of the five are modification elements. So now we are going to discuss the rest of the five, that is influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation, liberation. So this will be discussed from two perspectives, one from the real point of view and one from the conventional point of view. From the real point of view, it will be like psychic influx, bhav asrav, and from the non-soul point of view, it would be material influx or physical influx, dravya asrav. Bhav asrav, dravya asrav. Similarly, bhav bandh, dravya bandh, bhav samvar, dravya samvar, bhav nirjara, dravya nirjara, bhav moksha and dravya moksha. So these all will be discussed from two viewpoints, and that is how we are going to end on this second chapter. So let's discuss. We all know about these fundamental elements. So I did not explain you in detail, but the explanatory notes are very good. You can just go through as a homework for your better understanding. Otherwise, as far as exams are concerned, what we are covering is enough. Okay. Questions will be set from the original verse. That's all, nothing else. So verse number 28. We'll start from verse number 28. Soumya is there? Yeah. So I'll make you a co-host, Soumya.
Okay, sir.
Good. So you can share the textbook. So we'll start with Soumya only, page number 92, verse number 28. 92. We are into 102. Yeah, you have to come back. Yes. So from here, influx and other elements are going to be discussed.
Yes, sir. आसव बंधन संवर ऋचड़ मुखा सपुण्य पावाजे जीवा जीव विशेषा ते विसमासेण पभड़ामो. The subdivisions of soul, jiva, and non-soul ajiva, namely influx, ashra, bondage, bandh, stoppage, samvar, gradual dissociation, nirjara, liberation, moksha, merit, punya, and demerit, pap are described.
In brief, next. Okay.
In brief.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So the coming verses would be about this, all the fundamentals. Now they have added punya and pap also at the end. Only one verse, they have covered it. But even if it is not covered, if we are discussing only 7 fundamentals, it is understood that they are included under influx and bondage. Why influx and bondage? Because merit and demerit are a cause of karmic bondage, okay, and not a cause of liberation. What is the cause of liberation then? Samvar, nirjara, and moksha. Okay. Stoppage, dissociation, and liberation. These are the causes of liberation. And this influx, bondage, merit, and demerit are all causes of karmic bondage. So punya and pap are included in influx and bondage, but here they have separately. So when we say sat tattva, it means 7 fundamental elements. But when we include punya pap also, then it becomes no padarth. Okay. So padarth could be substance also, and padarth could be elements also. Okay. In both sense it is being used, but here we will use it in the sense of an elements. Okay. So Sat Tattva, no Padarth is all same only. Only thing that it has been subdivided into Punya and Pap. Otherwise, in the 7 fundamentals, it is included in the influx and bondage. So this is what we are going to read in the next coming verses. From 28 to 38, all the 5 fundamentals and the Punya Pap all are explained. So first we are going to discuss influx on verse number 29. So here we will be discussing psychic influx and material influx. Okay. So 29. Amita ji, Amita won't read. Okay. Pratibha ji, you read. And the verse, the Sanskrit would be read by Soumya. Soumya, you have to read every time. You are reading in a very nice manner.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Asavati.
Go
Sir,
ahead.
am I audible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Asavati jed kammam parinamena pado savirneyo bhava savo jiditto kamma savadam paro hodi.
Dispositions of the soul that cause influx of karmas is called by Lord Jina the psychic subjective influx, bhav ashrav. The other kind is material objective influx, dravya ashrav.
So this is very limited what it has been given here, and we have learnt in detail. So very simple, the dispositions of delusion, attachment, and aversion is called psychic influx. And corresponding to that, the karmic matter which flows in towards the soul is material influx. Very simple. Okay. Now, what are these material influx and what are this? We are going to study in detail in the next few verses. So, the next one, 30. First of all, they are discussing Bhav Asrav, psychic influx. So its name would be given here and its subdivisions. Soumya, again.
Michatta viradipamad joga kuhado thivinneya pad dahtiya chadukam sohedadupavassa.
Yeah, Himali.
Okay, so thank you, Soumyaji. The first of these, psychic influx, which is Bhav Asra, as an antecedent to bondage, is due to 5 reasons. Wrong belief, which is Mithyatva, non-abstinence, which is Avidati, negligence, which is pramad, activity, which is yoga, and passion, which is kashai. These are of 5, 15, 3, and 4 kinds, respectively.
So 5 kinds of wrong belief. Okay. Now, what is this 5 kinds of wrong belief? So in the next page, it is given. Um, uh, can you take us on the next page? Yes. So in the middle, you could see absolutely the middle line, or it is of 5 kinds. Slightly below, go below, just below. Yes. Yeah, in the middle, 4 lines below that.
After
Bring the cursor down. Or it is, yeah, or it is of 5 kinds. Got it? Just highlight. Or it is of 5 kinds. Just below, 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 below. Yes, 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 yes. Or it is of 5 kinds. Okay. So 5 kinds of mithyatva, ekant, one-sided. Okay. The first one is absolutist one-sided attitude. That is the first kind of wrong belief. Then second, contrary attitude, viprit, contrary. Okay. Third, sanshay, doubtful attitude or skepticism. Skepticism. Fourth, Vinay Mithyatva, non-discriminating attitude. Then fifth, Agyan, ignorant attitude. Okay. So you got 5 kinds of wrong faith, wrong belief. Okay. The next is non-abstinence. So non-abstinence here has been divided into 5, but actually it is 12. Okay. So 5 kinds of non-abstinence. Now this 5 kinds of wrong belief is further explained. Okay. If you want to read, you can read from here. The identification of a thing is number 1. Then an ascetic with material is number 2. Okay. So this way you will find that there are 5 are being explained just after naming them. Okay. So 5 types of non-abstinence is the 5 sins. Okay. Violence, falsehood, theft, unchastity, and possessions. Okay. These are the 5 kinds of non-abstinence. The 5 sins are non-abstinence. Now, there are mentioned 12 kinds of non-abstinence in all other scriptures. Okay. So all the what are these 12 non-abstinence? So 12 non-abstinence is 5 senses and mind. So 6 is this one. And the other 6 are the 6 classes of living beings, like Sthavar and Tras. Sthavar is immobile beings. Okay. So we have earth body, water, then air, fire, uh, and the plants, Vanaspati Kai. Okay. So these 5 are Sthavar, immobile being, and then we have one category of Tras. So that is 2 sense to 5 sense being are all falling under this category of mobile beings. Okay. So 6 plus 6 is 12 non-abstinence. But here you should count only 5, and that 5 are the 5 sins. Very simple. The third in the sequence is negligence, and the divisions are 15. So how we get this 15? It's not mentioned here, but there is a write-up on negligence here in the next page, that is page number 103, but I will give you the names. So negligence is of 15 types, pramad, 4 kashai, 4 passions, okay, anger, pride, deceit, greed. Then 4 types of gossip, non-religious tale. What are these? Vikatha. It is called Vikatha in Hindi. Vikatha is gossip, non-religious tale. So first is about woman, about food, about state or kingdom, And the last one is about theft. These are the common talks that people do around at those point of time. Now we have many more gossips like this. So in one of the scriptures called Bhavdipika, these 4 gossips have been further divided into 25 kinds of gossip. Okay, but here we will limit to 4 gossips only, about women, about food, about state, and about theft. Then we have 5 senses. Okay, negligence regarding 5 senses, that we indulge in sensual pleasure. Okay, whatever we indulge in sensual pleasure is a cause of negligence. Okay, so when we are indulging in sensual pleasure, we cannot connect to our soul. Okay, our active consciousness is busy in the sensual pleasure, so that active consciousness will not connect to the soul simultaneously. One at a time. That is the limitation of active consciousness in the up to 12th stage of spiritual development. Okay. The next is 5 senses. Okay, fine. 4 passions, 4 gossips, and 5 sensual objects or senses. Okay. Then 1 sleep. Sleep is again a cause of negligence. And 1 is sneh, prem. Okay. Affection. So this is again a kind of gossip. So these are not gossip, but a kind of negligence. So this 15 kinds of negligence. Now, exactly what does negligence mean? Sometimes the negligence has been included in passions also. So if you see the divisions of negligence, it is all related to passions only. So in Samaisar, negligence has not been mentioned separately. It has been included in passions. Okay. So this negligence is nothing but you are not aware of your soul at that point of time. When the negligence sets in, you are not alert, not aware of your soul functions. That is called negligence in simple terms. Okay, so 15 negligence. So 5 plus 5 plus 15. Then 3. What is this 3? 3 is about activity. So activity of the mind, activity of the speech, and activity of the body. 3 types of yoga. Then we have 4, that is passions. Krodh, man, maya, lobh. Anger, pride, deceit, greed. Done? So we are done with all these. These are the psychic influx. These are the reasons of psychic influx. Now we move on to, I think, material influx. Yeah. So 31 is about material influx. Amitaji, you will read the English and Hindi by Soumya. Or you would be comfortable reading Sanskrit also?
I can try, but
Yeah. So
she
you
is
try.
doing a beautiful job.
No, you do it. You try it,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay. Thank you, sir. राणावरणादीपं दीनं जोगं जम्पुगलं समासवदिः दव्वासवो सणेयो अणेयभेयो जिणखदो.
Very good.
Thank you. Influx of particles of matter, which are fit to turn into 8 kinds of karmas, like knowledge obscuring karma, is called material influx. Dravya, ashram, by Lord Jina. These 8 kinds of karmas, again, are of many kinds.
So influx of particles of matter which are fit to turn into 8 kinds of karma. So this is coming of the karmas is called material influx. So we know all 8 kinds of karmas and its 148 subdivisions all put together is the material influx. Now the next verse, we were now moving on to bondage. So again, bondage are of 2 types. One is psychic bondage and the other is material bondage. Bhavbandh and Dravya Bandh, 32. So who would be reading? Again, Pratibhaji. Soumya, you read the Sanskrit one.
Yes, sir. पच्छदिकं मम चेड तुचेदन भावेण भावबन्धोऽसो कम्मादपदे साडम् अर्णोडपवेसडम् इदरो.
Thank you, Sonia. Dispositions of the soul, like perverted faith, actuated by passions, cause psychic bondage, bhav bandha, and the interpenetration of the karmic matter with the space points of the soul is termed as material bondage.
So the dispositions like delusion, attachment, and aversions that we discussed in psychic influx, if you indulge in that, then it is called psychic bondage. Okay. So if you indulge in that, that is called psychic bondage, and correspondingly, the influx of karmas which comes and settle with the space points of the soul is termed as material bondage. So very simple. Now we see that this bondage is of 4 types. Prakriti, Pradesh, Sthiti, Anubhav. Prakriti is nature. Sthiti, Prakriti, Pradesh. Pradesh is space points. Okay, quantity of space points, and then duration is Sthiti Bandh, and intensity is Anubhag Bandh, intensity of fruition. Okay. So 33 is about that. And Himali,
So I have a question.
yes.
So what does this mean? And the interpenetration of karmic matter with the space points of the soul.
So space points means they are both at the same place, but one does not enter another. The word interpenetration refers to that it has entered the soul and soul has entered the karma, but it is not so. Okay. So there are some difference in language from the Acharya itself. It is not the translator. Even in the Acharyas, ek mev hona. Ek mev hona means become one, which is not. They are both at the same space point, and that's why they are called as one, but it is not one. Even in that same space point, not a single atom of karma has entered soul, and not a single space point of soul has entered karma. Both remain distinctly different.
Correct.
Because both are different substances. One is a conscious substances, other is a non-conscious substance, matter substance. So
Yeah.
how can one enter into another?
Correct.
Right? So
Yes.
it is mentioned from the conventional point of view. So we have to understand. I have many difference of opinion regarding these 7 fundamentals. It is our so good luck that we have studied 7 fundamentals from different scriptures in a very elaborate manner. So we know whatever definitions given here are very limited, very limited. I don't know. Again, it's a surprise to me that Acharya, like a person who is a monk, he is writing mindfully something, and that definition is not complete. So this is something very surprising, but nevertheless, everything does not come to your mind every time. Sometimes we also forget, and as a human, the monk has also forgotten. And now this is so quite okay, but when we discuss the definition of stoppage, yesterday I was reading it, I thought that the main cause of stoppage somewhere has not been mentioned at all, not been expressed, not has been touched upon at all. So this makes the definition a bit incomplete, but we know very in detailed form. So we are discussing in detailed form only.
Okay, so thank you.
So interpenetration does not mean that an atom of soul has entered karma and karma's atom has entered into soul. Nothing. All are distinct, only they are in the same space point. Otherwise, how would you relate the karmas to? Because there are infinite karmas all around us, infinite karmic particles in the atmosphere. The moment a soul makes a disposition here, it gets attracted, and because of the instrumental cause of the disposition of the soul, this karmic matter gets attracted and settles along the soul. And it remains up till that time when it's giving fruition. Once it gives its fruition, then only it gets disposed of. Okay. Otherwise, it remains there up to the time of its fruition. So this is how we have bound karmas from time immemorial. And now we are learning the process through which we can dissociate this karmic bondage gradually. Okay. That we will learn more on in the Nirjara, dissociation of bondage.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good. You are very alert, always asking right questions. Anything against our belief should be questioned. Okay, whatever you have understood, anywhere you find that something going other way, you should pinpoint. One of the reasons would be that sometimes the acharyas also say from conventional point of view, and sometimes they say from real point of view. So that point of view difference would always be there. Now here interpenetration is a word that is being said from the conventional point of view. So now when we know all the points of view, it's very easy to comprehend, when it says that soul is suffering because of karma. So we know it's a conventional statement, right? So even if it is not mentioned that from what point of view it is being said, we have to understand. And that's why little bit of study is required to know all these points of view. And once we know the point of view, then we can easily ascertain the meaning of the verse by putting across the point of view. Okay, so now 4 types of bondage. Verse number 33. Who was reading? Soumya will read this Sanskrit one, and then I said Amitaji. No, not Amitaji. Who was there? Pratibhaji, right?
पयडिठिदियडु भागप्प देश भेदादु चदुविदो बंधो जोगा पयडि पदेसा ठिदियडु भागा कसायदो होंती.
Thank you, Sonia. Bondage is of 4 kinds according to its nature or species. Prakriti Bandha, duration, Sthiti Bandh, intensity of fruition, Anubhaga Bandh, and quantity of space points, Pradesha Bandh. Nature bondage and quantity of space points bondage are due to activity, yoga, and duration bondage and intensity of fruition bondage are due to passions, kashai.
So, which is powerful? Nature and quantity bondage, that is due to activity, or the duration and intensity, which is due to passions, which is more powerful?
So the duration and the
Duration and intensity. It will create a great impact on you when it is come into fruition. Prakriti and Pradesh are absolutely nominal. It doesn't make any difference. Okay. So what is this Prakriti? Prakriti is nature. So we have 8 kinds of karma, and then we have subdivisions of karmas, okay, which is 148. Okay. So when there is a bondage, there will be a division among the nature, that Jnanavaran will get so much. So quantity will be ascertained by the Pradesh bondage. Okay, Pradesh means quantity of space points. So how much will go into Jnanavaran, how much with Dasnavaran, how much into Monya, Antaray and all, right? 8 karmas. So the nature, that is types of karmas, then quantity, that is because of space points, and the third is sthiti, duration, how long it will stay with the soul, and when the fruition starts, how long with the fruition goes on. There are some karmas which we have bound 50,000 years ago, and it's still coming in fruition. Every moment it is coming. So sometimes you might wonder that why so much of difficulty in my life, when I'm doing all the right things, I never thought ill of others, I have never harmed anybody. Why? Because all the past karmas are coming into fruition. Okay. So we don't know what we have done in the past. Although our present life, we are aware that it's a very good life, but what we have done in the past, we don't know. So even the learned scholars also have, even the monks also have this fruition of their past karmas, and then certain things in their life happens. Now consider the case of afflictions, upsarg on a monk. Just imagine Parshvanath Swami, who is Tirthankar, and he is getting an upsarg, afflictions. Now, how we can imagine that? Because he has got the highest level of merits karma, auspicious karma, and still this kind of things has happened in his life. Why? Because there are some karmas which never changes. That is called nikachit karma. Nikachit karma, once it is bound, there could not be any change, and it will definitely come, whoever it is. So even if it is a Tirthankar, still the karmas will come. If it is that category of karma, then there are other categories of karma where all the moment it keeps on changing. Okay. But out of 10 types of karmas, 10 states of karma, this nikachit karma, last one, is one such karma where there is no increment, not decrement, no conversion, and not prematurity. Nothing happens. It happens, it comes in its full intensity and duration, and you cannot change it. So nature and quantity due to activity of yoga are very mild, not powerful. But duration bondage and intensity of bondage, which are due to passions, is very powerful, and it's create a big impact on the dispositions of the soul. Okay. Now, who will decide that how much will go to Jnana Varana, how much will go to Darshana Varana? Can anybody remember that example from Moksha Marg Prakasha? Hemali? Soumya?
Yes, sir. Sir, the example was once we eat food, it
Very good.
automatically gets converted to blood and all.
Yes. So once we eat the food, who decides that how much it will convert into blood, how much it will go into muscles, how much it will go into bones, and how much it will go in as a pass out as a stool, urine? Who does this? Automatic. Similarly, disposition of the soul is an instrumental cause, and everything else happen, the bondages happen automatically according to its own eligibility of the moment. Okay. So this is enough about bondage. Now we will move on to the next one, 34. And Soumya, you only. So there in the page number 119, you can see the chart of karma, Ghatiya, Aghatiya. I don't know what is the point in writing the Hindi words in English book. If you want to mention Hindi words, you can mention in the bracket, but the main word should be in English, and that's what we are doing now in our translation team. So earlier it was the other way. They said that no, Hindi words to hमें बताना ही है. I said you forget the Hindi word altogether, because it's initially we need to know. Now we know all the words. So we can go to the flow, and putting Hindi words in between breaks the flow. So anyway, but this author has done that way. So everyone feels that we are writing for the beginners, but now we are into this English study for 1.5 years. So more or less everyone knows the terminology, but having said that, still it is there. So there, let it be. But some of them has been translated, not all have been translated. Like Ghati karma is obscuring karma. Aghati karma is non-obscuring karma. Okay. Then Jnana Varana is knowledge obscuring karma. Darshana Varana is perception obscuring karma. Monia is deluding karma. And Antarai is power, energy obstructing karma. Power or energy obstructing karma. Okay. So this is done like that. Anyway, now 34, Soumya, you only do. Sanskrit and English both.
Yes, sir. चेदण परिणामो जो कम्मस्सास वणिरोहणे हेउ स्वभाव संवरो खलु दव्व सवरोहणे अर्णो. The cessation of the inflow of karmic matter as a result of dispositions of the soul is psychic stoppage, that is bhav samvar. After this cessation, the taking in of karmic matter is cut off or interrupted. This should be known as material stoppage, that is dravya samvar.
So how this cessation of the inflow of karmic matter will happen? So the samvar only arise when we take shelter in our soul, when we take shelter in ourself. Okay, that is the time the samvar arise for the first time, when there is a self-realization. So the first word, our active consciousness, which is engaged in the sensual pleasures and other object, okay, that we have to, with our studies, with our contemplations, and with our decision making power, when you are constantly hammering that happiness lies in the soul and not in the sensual pleasures, happiness lies in the soul and not in the sensual pleasure, then due to constant hammering, at some point of time, your active consciousness will start thinking, that, oh, happiness is not there. So it will give him a push to deviate or diverge from the sensual pleasure and get itself towards its own soul. Okay. And once it turns around and goes into the direction of the soul, that is the time the self-realization happens. Active consciousness gets absorbed in the soul. Okay. And they become one. And that is the time of self-realization, and that is the time of right belief. Okay, and that is the time when the stoppage of influx starts. Otherwise, there is no stoppage. It's only a vicious circle. New influxes are coming, old influxes is giving fruits and getting offloaded, and new karmas are being bound. So this process goes on. But there is a stoppage when you divert your active consciousness, okay, from the sensual pleasures and other objects of the universe towards your soul, and along with and it gets absorbed and one with the soul, and that is the time the stoppage element starts. Okay, so the origination of purity in the disposition of the soul is stoppage. Its further development or increment is dissociation, and completeness of purity is liberation. Okay, so in stoppage, the origination of the purity first time. Okay, then it, with more practicing discriminative knowledge again and again, this purity keeps on increasing, and as the purity keeps on increasing, the impurity keeps on decreasing. These both are inversely proportional. So purity increases, impurity decreases. So this is called dissociation. And one point of time, complete purity will manifest and complete impurity will go away. Okay, that is liberation. All this we have discussed from the psychic point of view. Okay, now we will be discussing from the material point of view also. After this cessation, the taking in of karmic matter is cut off or interrupted. Okay, so karma that were coming due to the influx and the bondage, now it stops. Now new karmas are not coming in. Old are accumulated and they will get gradually dissociated in the nirjara. Okay, when we enter that phase of nirjara. So somewhere nirjara automatically arise at the same time. But having said that, samvar has been discussed first because it is the cause and nirjara is the effect. Okay, they have a cause and effect relationship. Similarly, influx and bondage have a cause and effect relationship. Influx is the cause and bondage is the effect. Okay. So, psychic stoppage and material stoppage you have understood. Now, the next verse would be about the psychic stoppage. What are the divisions of psychic stoppage? In other words, what are the tools that are responsible for this psychic stoppage? So this has been very well explained in Tattvat Sutra in chapter number 9. Okay, chapter number 9 of Tattvat Sutra, which we will study in the 6th sem. Okay, up to 8th chapter we will study in the 5th sem. 9th and 10 will be in the 6th sem. So there it has been discussed in detail. But before that, we are going to touch this topic in 12 contemplations. That is our next topic. Next Saturday, we are starting this 12 contemplations. And among the 12 contemplations, there is one samvar bhavana, stoppage contemplation. And in that stoppage contemplation, this has been discussed in brief, but in detail we will discuss in Tattvat Sutra. So what are the subdivisions of this stoppage element? Okay, 35. Himali. Soumya, you read the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bad samiti guttiyo dhammarupeha parisahojoya charittam bahubheya rayavva bhav samvar visesa.
Vows, thank you so much. Vows, which is vrat, carefulness, samiti, control, gupti, virtue or rules of piety, which is dharma, contemplation, anupeksha, conquest by endurance, parisha jaya, and conduct, which is charitra, are the various means for stopping the inflow of karmic matter, which is bhav samvar.
So, there are 7 points here. Vows. Vows are 5 vows. Okay. This is basically discussed from the point of view of a monk, and that also has been discussed in Tattvat Sutra from the perspective of a monk. So, what vows we can take? 5 major vows. Okay. It could be minor vows also, but we are discussing of the monk. So, it is the 5 major vows, Mahavrat, you know. So, what are these 5 Mahavrat? Ahimsa Mahavrat. Okay. So, non-violence. Vows of non-violence. Then we have truth. Then we have non-theft. Then we have brahmacharya, which is chastity. And then we have aparigraha, non-possession. So these are the 5 vows, major vows. Okay. So it has been written in the explanatory notes that you can see from there. Then we have 5 types of carefulness. Okay. Which is also again here mentioned. Iriya Samiti, carefulness in walking, speech, eating, lifting and laying down things, and carefulness in disposal of excretion, Utsarg Samiti. Then we have control. So this control is the third point here. This control is not there in the Tattvat Sutra. In Tattvat Sutra, only 6 causes have been mentioned. So this is something extra there which has been mentioned here because we are discussing the monks. So the monks always have these 3 control: mind control, body, speech control, and body control. Okay. So this is called Gupti. So when you are engrossed in yourself, no thoughts coming in your mind. So the Manogupti is very spontaneous. Then you are not talking to anybody because you are engrossed in yourself. You are extracting bliss from the soul. You are busy in enjoying that bliss. So you don't talk to anybody, right? So no speech activity. and no body activity. You are stationed in the meditation pose, So this 3 controls automatically come, when you are engrossed in self. And if you don't know the self, where you will engross in? So first you have to have a right belief, and then you can get to the 3 controls in the true sense. Okay. So this is 3 true. Then the fourth one point is virtue or rules of PT. That is dharma, 10 dharma, 10 lakshan dharma. So 10 lakshan dharmas are also mentioned. Supreme forgiveness, supreme straightforwardness, everything you know. So I'm not repeating, you can just check it out there. Then the fifth point is contemplations, 12 contemplations. We are going to discuss in very detail in the next topic only. Then we have conquest by endurance, parisha jai. Upsarg is afflictions, and this is conquest by endurance, parisha jai. Okay, so you are winning over those, and this is something that the monks indulge intentionally, parisha jai, because he want to check his strength. He want to check his strength of meditation, and the upsarg that comes are through man-made afflictions. Okay, man-made, animal-made. So those are manual afflictions that come to the monk. So there are 22 types of endurance, this conquest of by endurance, and it has been mentioned here, the 22 afflictions to be endured. Okay, so this Sudha, Trusha and all are given, that also you can see. So this is the contemplation. 6th is conquest by endurance, and the 7th is conduct. So there are 5 kinds of conduct which are mentioned here. You can see in the next 5 kinds of conduct. Okay. Samaik, Chedopsthapna, Parihar Vishuddhi, Sukshma Sampray, Yathakhyat. So here it is written Sukshma Sampray is a slight delusion, but no, it's not delusion, it is passion. Sampray is passion and Suksham means subtle passions. Okay. So some of the, but here this has been done by Jain essay. So this has been adapted from somewhere. So it is not the Acharya Nemi Chandra Siddhanti Dev that has done it. So, but it has been adapted from Jain SA reality. Okay. And also from Champat Rai Jain, the key of knowledge. So Champat Rai was a very good scholar, and he went to UK and he did a job there, and then he observed that you cannot have a gradual peaceful death here in UK. They don't know it. So if you want to have a samadhi, then you have to come to India only. So he wrote in his book, he's a very good scholar. These all books have been written 100 years ago, maybe 80, 90 years ago. Very old books. Okay, so 35 we are done with, and now we will move on to the 36. Now we are discussing dissociation of bondage in 36. Okay, Amita ji.
जः कालेन तवेणाय भूतरसं कम्मपुग्गलं जेण भावेण सददीणेया तस्सडणं चेदि निजरा दुविहा. Dispositions of the soul to get rid of the karmic matter already bound with it, either when it falls off by itself on fruition or when it is annihilated through asceticism, tapas, constitute the subjective shedding of karmas, bhav nirjara. The actual disassociation of the karmic matter from the soul is the objective shedding of karmas, dravya nirjara. Thus, Nijara should be known of two kinds.
So Bhav Nirjara and Dravya Nirjara. Bhav Nirjara is psychic dissociation and Dravya Nirjara is material dissociation. So what could be a psychic dissociation? So again, this Nirjara are of Bhav Nirjara is of two types and Dravya Nirjara is also of two types. So this psychic dissociation is of two types. One is Akam and Sakam. Okay. So generally speaking, people say that Sakam and in Dravya Nirjara, there are again two divisions, Avipak and Savipak. Okay. Akam, Sakam, Avipak, Savipak. Now, Akam, A means no, not of use, is called Akam. Okay. So this is regarding those, this is being explained as such that when we take shelter in our soul, there is a stoppage of element, and further with practice of the science of discrimination, that purity keeps on increasing. That is the actual psychic dissociation of bondage. Okay. Bhav Nirjara is increase of purity. Okay. On the other hand, because of your purity that has increased, that particular to that extent, the disposition of at disposition of passions, attachments and aversion does not rise. That is the psychic dissociation. Now, what is material dissociation? Material dissociation means that physical karma, okay, which has already been bound earlier, which is there in the space point along with the soul, okay, that gets dissociated due to the instrumental cause of the disposition of the soul. That is called material dissociation. Okay. Physically, karma getting dissociated from the soul space. So this is called Dravya Nirjara. Now we were discussing two types of each. So Akam, not of use. Then Sakam. Sakam is of very useful. That refers to those dissociation which without giving the fruit, it gets dissociated. Okay. So that happens with the enlightened people. Akam is it could happen to an ignorant person also. Okay. You can endure any hardship. You know, there are examples given that a monk who has not realized his self, okay, who is not a Bhavlingi monk, he practices austerities to that extent that even somebody inflicting pain on his body, he is not manifesting anger of any sort, okay, and still he is not enjoying eternal bliss because he has not realized his self. So you can endure to any extent. So that is not of any use in the path of liberation. In the path of liberation, only those where you are winning over those sufferings, you know, if you are able to win over, then you are enjoying eternal bliss also. And that is what is useful in the path of liberation also. Okay. So, Akam Nirjara and Sakam Nirjara. Sakam Nirjara is only for the enlightened soul, enlightened scholars. Okay. And in Dravya Nirjara also there are two divisions, Avipak and Savipak. So this is basically related to physical karmas. So one is Savipak. Savipak karma is happening all the time. Old karmas are coming into fruition, giving its fruits and going away. So this is called Savipak, giving fruits and going away. Then there is one other category called Avipak, which only the enlightened people have. And that is where the karma gets offloaded without coming into fruition. And that is because we have bound infinite karmas since time immemorial. But when we get into the path of liberation, maybe in 2-4 births, you get liberated because of Nirjara. There is a process. You just concentrate on yourself. You just get engrossed in yourself and all the karmas will burn away. Karmo ke indan dhwast hue. Karmo ke indan. Whatever the karmas be there, we have the capability and the power to dispose of all those karmas, to burn off all those karmas within a very short time. Okay. Bharat Chakravarti was a king with 96,000 wives, 60,000 children, and he conquered the 6 divisions of the universe. And he took the oath of a monk. He got initiated into monk, and within 48 minutes, he destroyed all the karmas and got omniscience knowledge. Now just imagine getting into monkhood, and within 48 minutes, within 48, not 48 is the maximum, within 48 minutes, he manifested omniscience knowledge. Now, how could that have been done? Because while he was a householder, he was all the time contemplating, practicing, after the war ends at 5 o'clock in the evening, he used to sit in a samayik. That was the situation he's going through. So your external situation could be very adverse, but internally, if you have done this homework, you would be able to maintain a balance in those situations, and this skill sets everything apart in this universe. What is more attractive to you than this kind of knowledge, where you are just diffusing the tense situation in a moment with just applying the principle? Everything is sequence bound. There is nothing that happens to the soul. Soul is only a knower. Okay? Every action takes place because of 5 causes. There are four types of non-existence. Then there are 5 types of distinct dispositions. All these principles will come in handy when you practice this kind of things. Then in a moment only you feel relaxed, calm, nothing. So this is the magic. I feel that this entire learning is magic only. It's just simply magic, nothing else. Very, very surprising. This kind of things exist in the universe. That is the first surprise. And the next surprise is that we have got access to it. Now, putting it little bit of efforts, then you will have a copyright on that, and that you are independent to do. Okay. So Dravya Nirjara 2 types, Bhav Nirjara 2 types, all discussed. 4 types of Nirjara in total. The enlightened one had all the 4 kinds of Nirjara, and the ignorant one has only 2 types of Nirjara. Okay, everything is clear. Now we move on to the next. 37. Yes. Now liberation and its divisions. Again, 2 divisions: psychic liberation and the material liberation. Okay. Psychic liberation is the purity that originated in stoppage, that further was increasing in Nirjara, and now it has come to a completion. So complete purity is manifested. That is psychic liberation. And what is material liberation? All the karmas being destroyed completely is a material liberation. So there are 3 types of karmas: dravya karma, that is material karma. Then we have bhav karma, which is psychic karma. And then we have no karma, quasi karma. Body and other related associations are all quasi karma. Okay. So all these gets destroyed. So you get material liberation also. Material liberation happens in the 14th stage of spiritual development, but psychic liberation could happen in 13th stage. Okay, the moment you destroy all the obscuring karmas, all the 4 obscuring karma, that is the time you manifest bhav moksha. Okay, so Soumya, you only read 37.
Yes, sir. Savvasya kammado jo kaihe duappadohu parinamo reo sabhava mukho davve vimokho yakam bhavo. Disposition of the soul. that results into destruction of all karmas surely is the psychic or subjective liberation, that is bhava moksha, and the actual disassociation of all karmas from the soul should be known as the material or objective liberation, that is dravya moksha.
Yes, everything clear? Now, the next one, the last one, Punya Pap. They have added this with the 7 fundamentals. So it makes it 9. So this one, 38. Hemali. Soumya, you read the Hindi, Sanskrit one.
असुभावयुक्ता पुण्यपावं हवन्ति खलु जीवा सादं सुहाउडामं गोदं पुण्यं पराणि पावं च.
Thank you. Jivas entertaining auspicious dispositions are virtuous, have punya roop, and those entertaining inauspicious dispositions are wicked, which is pap roop. Pleasant feelings, which is sata vedna, auspicious life, which is shubh ayu, auspicious name, which is shubh nam, and auspicious status, which is shubh gotra, result from the virtuous varieties of karma and the remaining from the wicked varieties of karma.
So we all know auspicious and inauspicious. Okay. So when you indulge your mind, speech, and body in activities that are auspicious in nature, you bind auspicious karma. And when you indulge in inauspicious activities, you bind inauspicious karma. So this auspicious and inauspicious divisions are there in non-obscuring karmas. In obscuring karmas, there is no divisions of merits and demerits. It's all demerits only. Okay. So that's why when you are manifesting auspicious sentiments, at that time also, as far as obscuring karmas are concerned, it's destroying your inner qualities. Okay. So that's why they are obscuring karmas. It obscures your nature, true nature. Okay. So this is about punya and pap. Okay. Virtues and sins. So these divisions are only in non-obscuring karma. So we have pleasant feelings and unpleasant feelings. Then we have auspicious life and inauspicious life. We have auspicious physic forming karma and a non-auspicious physic forming karma. And then we have high status and low status. All these are because of the auspicious and inauspicious varieties of karmas. Okay. So this is done. The second chapter is now complete. We are starting the third chapter. Okay. This will deal with 39 to 46. The explanation is about the path of liberation, which has been expressed in 2 ways, from the real point of view and conventional point of view. So we'll be discussing from both the points of view, the cause of the liberation, path of liberation. So 39, Soumya.
Sir. सम्मदंसणाणं चरणं मोक्षस्य कारणं जाने व्यवहाराणे च यदो तत्तियमय्योनियो अप्पा. From the empirical point of view, that is Vyavharnay, right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct together are to be known as leading to liberation, that is moksha. And from the transcendental point of view, Nishchanay, the soul itself, inherently possessing these 3 attributes, is the cause of liberation.
So from the conventional point of view and from the real point of view. Okay. So from the conventional point of view, when we say these 3, okay, differently, right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct, okay, it is called the conventional point of view. And when we connect to the soul who is possessing these inherent qualities, then it is a real point of view. So this is the basic difference between conventional and, so when it is Bhed, it is conventional. When it is Abhed, it is real. Okay. Now it has been explained each individually. The first one coming up in the 40 is the real point of view, path of liberation. Pratibha ji.
Yes, sir. प्रयणतयम्न भट्टै अपाणमुयत्तु अर्णदविह्यं हि तं हा तत्तियमय्यो होदिहु मोक्षस्य कारणम् आदा.
Thank you, sir. The three jewels, Ratnatraya of right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct, exist only in the soul and not in any other substance, Dravya. Hence, the soul itself, having this attribute of Ratnatraya, is the real cause of liberation.
So the three jewels, Ratnatraya, right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct, exist only in the soul and not in any other substance. So this is from the real point of view. Hence, the soul itself having this attribute of Ratnatraya. So you are putting emphasis on the soul, undivided soul. Okay, then it becomes real point of view. And when you are putting weightage on the divisions of right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct, it becomes a conventional point of view. So where you are putting on the weightage, that determines whether it is a conventional statement or it's a real statement. Okay. Because in both the cases, we discussed the three gems, right? But when we are focusing on the soul, and portraying soul as the possessor of these three attributes, then it's a real point of view. And when we are simply discussing the three jewels, then it is a conventional point of view. Okay, so this 40 is done. 41. Now the three gems are being explained. First coming up is the right belief. Amita ji.
Amita ji, you are muted.
Okay.
Thank you. Jivadi sadahanam sammatam ruvama panautu tam tu durabhini vesa vimukkam nanam samam khu hodisadi jamhi. Belief in substances, souls and non-souls, as these actually are, is right faith. Right faith is an inherent attribute of the soul. Having achieved right faith, sorry. Soumya-ji, I don't have the book, so you'll have to share it, please. Thank you. Having achieved right faith, knowledge of these substances without fallacies of doubt, samshay, error or perversity, vimoha or viparyaya, and uncertainty or indefiniteness, vibram or anadhyasai, is right knowledge.
Sir, you are on mute, sir.
Sorry. So belief in substances. So substance is not the right word. It should be elements. Because you see, on the Hindi version, it is written padartho. So padarth is substance also, and padarth is elements also. But here, when we are discussing the right belief, it is always the 7 fundamental elements. So belief in 7 fundamental elements, okay, souls and non-souls, as these actually are, is right faith. Okay. So believing in the 7 fundamentals as they are is right faith. Right faith is an inherent attribute of the soul. So after right faith, having achieved right faith, knowledge of these, again 7 fundamentals without 3 blemishes. What are these 3 blemishes or flaws? Fallacies of doubt, which is sanshay. Second is error or perversity, which is viparya. Viparya is a very popular term. And then uncertainty or indefiniteness. Okay, that is anadyavasai, is right knowledge. So these 3 are not mentioned in the actual verse. You see, these 3 are not mentioned. This will be mentioned in the next verse, but the author has put it on its own. So in translation, this should not be done, but where they have done, I don't know. Durbhinu vismekunanam samam khadu. Yeah, Somya? There is not, these 3 blemishes are not mentioned there in the actual verse. Let me check it out. (41). In the Hindi textbook that you have got, you could see each Sanskrit word being explained in Hindi. Okay. So 41. Okay. Samyak darshan ka laksan. जम ही सदी, जिस सम्यक दर्शन के होने पर खु यथार्थ में ज्ञान दूरबीणी वेश विमुक्कम, विपरीत अभिप्राय से रहित. That much only is given. विपरीत अभिप्राय से रहित. So these 3 doubts are not mentioned in the original verse, but the translator has mentioned it, which is not correct. When you are translating, you are not supposed to do extra commentaries. Okay. But anyways, that will coming in the next verse. So these are the 3 flaws we have studied in Chedala. We have studied this in the active consciousness chapter. So this is not something that unknown to us. We know the 3 flaws. The first one is the doubt. The second one is the perversity. And the third one is the indefiniteness. Indecision or indefiniteness. Okay. So these 3, if are there, then it is not the right knowledge. Okay. So now the next verse 42, these 3 are supposed to be explained and the names are mentioned here. You can see the first word, sansai, doubt. Vimo, vimo is perversity. And vibram, vibram is indefiniteness. Okay. Anadyavasai is indefiniteness. So here it is mentioned. So here it should be explained. But here it is not explained. It is just name the words. No problem. Anyway, we can connect. So this is something we have learned in Chedala in the 4th Dal, verse number 6. And we have also read about this in Vitrag Vigyan part 3, chapter 7, Mukti Ka Marg. Okay. Path of liberation. We have seen this while discussing the right knowledge. So whenever we discuss right knowledge, there is only one definition, that without these 3 flaws, the knowledge is a right knowledge, and when these flaws exist, it is not the right knowledge. Okay. So very simple. We can read this 42 also. Himali.
So should I read the Hindi one?
Yeah.
Okay. संशय विमोह विभ्रम विवज्यम अपरसरुवस्स गहनम सम्मर्णाणम सायारमणे अभेयम तु.
Detailed cognition of substances, souls, and non-souls without the fallacies of doubt, error, or uncertainty is right knowledge. Right knowledge is of many kinds.
So right knowledge is of many kind that we will see. No, it's not given in detail. So it's there only. The characteristics of the right knowledge is that it should be without these 3 fallacies, the doubt, error and uncertainty. Okay. So the good words would be doubt, perversity, and indefiniteness. Okay. So these are the words that we will be using often. Now the next 43, darshan upyog ka lakshan. So characteristics of perception, okay. Asserting generalities of substance, okay. Samanya grahan, samanya avlokan in general. So the first impression that we get is the general impression. It is called darshan upyog, okay. Asserting generalities of substance without going into particularities such as size and color is known as perception in Jaina scriptures. So when you go into detailing, it becomes knowledge. But before that, general impression, it is perception, okay. And when you go into detail, it becomes knowledge. So this is done. 44. I am reading only now because we are running short of time. We have 40 minutes left, okay. So this is 58 words. So I think hopefully we'll complete, but I'm doing it now. Now in this 44 words, perception and gyan, how they are the origination of perception and gyan in case of soul who is between 1 to 12th, and for the one who is an omniscient. So for omniscient, it is simultaneously, but for the souls who are between first and 12th stage of spiritual development, they have always the perception first and then the knowledge. That's why when we discuss the characteristics of the soul, we highlight the knowledge only, because perception is a general impression and perception always precedes the knowledge. So when we discuss knowledge, it is understood that perception has happened earlier, then only the knowledge comes. But the movement is so fast that we are not able to make out what is perception and what is knowledge. Okay. But I can give you an example. Many a times you must have seen, like even in Zoom, we blurred image is perception and clear cut image is knowledge. This example you can see. Okay. So in souls, Soumya, you read the Sanskrit part.
Yes, sir. Dansanapo vamnanam Chadumathanam na durniyava oga Jugavam jamha kevali Rane jugavam tute dovi.
In souls with imperfect knowledge. Okay, the imperfect knowledge is between 1 to 12th stages. All the souls are in imperfect knowledge. Agyani. 1 to 12 is still Agyani and 13th is Keval Gyani. Okay. So Chadmast, the exact word that is being used in the Sanskrit is Chadumathanam. Chadmast. Chadmast means those who have got a layer above a layer in their knowledge. Okay, so that is called Chadmas. So 1 to 12, there is a layer. 13th, it is omniscient, complete knowledge. So before incomplete knowledge or imperfect knowledge. In souls with imperfect knowledge, the two modes of upyog, okay, active consciousness, perception and knowledge, do not arise simultaneously. In such soul, knowledge arises only after acquisition of perception. Here it is written faith. Okay, again, this is a gross mistake from the translator. So it is very important that the translator should be also a knowledgeable person. Otherwise, these kind of mistakes will happen. He knows simply darshan likha hai, to likh diya faith. No, it's not everywhere. It is not faith. Here it is perception. Okay. So you can correct in your books or whatever, you can put it down. Or otherwise, if you go a little bit of deep, you will understand that what here it means is perception and not the faith. But in omniscient souls, both perception and knowledge arises simultaneously. Simple. The next, Vyavhar Charitra, 45th. What is Vyavhar Charitra? That is being explained here. Soumya.
Asuhado vinivitti Suhe pavittiya jana charit युक्तं वद समिति गोत्तिरुवं व्यवहारणयातु जिणभणियम्.
Conduct, that is charitra, from the conventional point of view, consists in desisting oneself from demerit, not indulging in sinful activity, non-commendable activities, and engaging in merit, commendable activities. Lord Jinnah has proclaimed that this empirical conduct is observed through 5 vows, vrats, 5 regulations, not regulations, it will be carefulness, samitis. We have already seen in page number 124 about 5 samitis, you can refer that, and 3 controls, guptis. So all these are being explained in page number 124 that we have already studied. So 5 plus 5 plus 3, this is 13 kind of conduct. Okay. The next, 46. Now the conduct from the real point of view. So what is the conduct from the real point of view? I would like to have an opinion from all of you. Hemali, what is the conduct from the real point of view?
So right conduct.
No. What is the right conduct from the real point of view? Pratibha ji.
It would be for the soul, like totally engrossed in soul.
Yes, totally engrossed. This is what I wanted to hear. So it is totally getting engrossed in the soul. Now you see the understanding what is given there by the author. Lord Jinnah has proclaimed from the real point of view that stoppage of all activities, external and internal, undertaken by a knowledgeable soul. Knowledgeable soul means the one who is an enlightened one. To attain liberation is right conduct. Now you can see analyze this definition. Stoppage of all activities, external and internal. So this is again a definition, but this is from the negative point of view. Positive point of view is absorption in the self, engrossed in the self, stabilizing in the self, focusing on the self. Okay, all these are conduct from the real point of view. Okay, so you can see in the explanatory notes, last paragraph, self-absorption is the key, is the heading given. And this is what is the real conduct or the conduct from the real point of view. Okay, so what are these activities? They are talking about internal and external. So external activities is the speech and the bodily activities are external activities. Okay, auspicious and inauspicious speech and bodily activities. Now what is this internal activity? Internal activity is auspicious and inauspicious thoughts that arises in the mind. Okay, so whatever we do at mind level is all internal activities. Now stopping of these two, external and internal, leads to equanimity, leads to passionlessness, leads to detachment, leads to eternal bliss. It is the same as the concentration on the self, focus on the self, stabilizing on the self, self-absorption, engrossed in the self. All these are synonymous words. Okay, but here it is being more explained in a simple way and we have covered everything. Next, 47. Soumya.
दुविहंपि मोक्षहेतुं झाणे पाउणदिजं मुनिर्नियमा तं हापयति चित्ता जूयं झाणं समभसः.
So this is about meditation. 47, 48, 49, these 3 words. And then after explaining the 5 supreme beings, we will come back to again this meditation, that is 55, 56, 57. Okay, so 6 words for meditation, and this is very, very interesting because ultimately this is what we are going to do. Initial, after the studies are over, then you will find enough strength to meditate on yourself. Okay. So, these words are very important, and we will read it in detail. An ascetic. Ascetic means a monk. Through meditation, okay, through meditation on the conventional as well as real path to liberation. Okay, so there is Nischay Moksha Marg, there is Vyavahar Moksha Marg, and both of them originates only when you realize yourself. So the first target would be to realize ourselves. So when we realize ourselves, that is the time both the conventional point of view and the real point of view originates. Before experience, there is no point of view. Okay, it's all perverted point of view. Okay, so point of view only arises when you realize yourself. So an ascetic through meditation on the conventional as well as the real path to liberation, as a rule, accomplishes them both. Okay, manifest both when he realizes himself, and that is the beginning of the path of liberation. Therefore, O Bhavya, Bhavya is a potential aspirant to liberation, one who will get liberated very soon. He is a Bhavya. Therefore, O Bhavya, practice meditation through the concentration of mind, engrossed in yourself. Now you have understood the nature of the soul, how it functions, what are its characteristics, what it can do, what is that it cannot do. You know every boundaries of the soul. Okay. So now is the time you concentrate your mind on your soul. Focus on your soul. And once you focus on your soul, you will experience eternal bliss. Okay. So this is what ultimately we want to do. And it is our so good luck that we are getting all these in terms of words written by acharyas and the monks who were there 1,000, 2,000 years ago. And they are giving us in writing that you do this, you do this. Okay. So we will understand about this more on the meditation. The next one, 48. So here, what is the way that you can concentrate on yourself is explained in this verse. Soumya.
मा मुझ्झः मा रज्ज मा दुस्सह इट्ठणिट्ठ अत्थेषु स्थिरमेच्छः जदि चेत्तं विचित्तझाणपसेद्धिये.
So ma means don't do. Mujjaha. Mujjaha is more, that is delusion. Ma rajjaha. Don't do attachment. Rajja is rag, attachment. And ma dussaha. Dussaha is aversion or dvesh. Okay. So don't do delusion, don't do attachment, don't do aversion. Then what we will do? If you are not doing these three, then what you are doing? You are manifesting equanimity. You are manifesting passionlessness. You are manifesting detachment. You are manifesting eternal bliss. You are manifesting, what would say? Enough. O Bhavya, potential aspirant to liberation. If you wish to concentrate your mind on various kinds of meditation, get rid of delusion. Now, what is this various kind of meditation? So, there are four kinds of meditation. Okay, dhyan. Dhyan, there are four kinds of dhyan. So, two are inauspicious. Artha dhyan and Rodra dhyan are auspicious. And then we have Dharma dhyan and Shukla dhyan. Now, each of these four meditations are of four types each. So, in total, it will be 16. These all we are going to study in detail in 9th chapter of Tattvarth Sutra. Okay. But here I'm just giving you a hint. So this different kinds of meditation means two meditations only we have to take, Dharma Dhyan and Sukla Dhyan. So Dharma Dhyan is at the 4th stage and Sukla Dhyan begins from the 8th stage onwards. Okay. So various kinds of meditation get rid of delusion, attachment and aversion. Because if you are not getting rid of these three, then you are not meditating, then you are not concentrating on the self. Okay. In respect of desirable and undesirable objects. So, are there any objects in the universe desirable or undesirable? Himali.
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, because uh,
Because object is object.
yeah,
Because of our belief, we have termed certain objects as desirable and certain objects as undesirable. Because of our ignorance, because of delusion, we see some objects as desirable and some objects as desirable. But in fact, actual fact, objects are objects. Now, example of rain. Okay. So, rain for a farmer is good, but rain for a potter is not good. So rain in itself is rain. It is not good or bad. How do you perceive it? Right? That determines whether it is desirable or desirable. So due to delusion, we we think some objects to be desirable, and when we think it to be desirable, we manifest attachment. And there are some objects we think that it is undesirable, and because it is undesirable, we manifest aversion. So our cycle of attachment, aversion goes on, and this is called mundane existence, sansar. Okay, यही संसार है. Now, with this knowledge, getting rid of delusion, you now know there is nothing in the universe called desirable and undesirable. It is according to my past karmas that will come into fruition. Something will be desirable to me. Sometimes you must have seen the friend becomes foe and foe becomes friend. Okay. So at one point of time, he was your best friend, and at other point of time, he becomes your foe. We have seen this in our life. So there is no desirable and undesirable objects, but because of delusion, we feel it so way, and so long we feel it, we will keep manifesting attachments and aversions. So there could not be any meditation. For meditation, you have to get rid of delusion in the first place and attachment and aversion. So attachment and aversion is nothing but passions. Okay. 13 types of attachments are first 13, like not first 13. Out of the 25 passions, 13 are attachment and 12 are aversions. Okay. So now you know correctly. 49. Yes.
29 16 चतुदुगमेगम च जवः झायेह परमेठिवाचयाणम् अर्णं च गुरुवसेण.
Meditate on, recite on, or chant the sacred mantras. So there are different kinds of meditation. I just discussed two because that is what matters in the path of liberation. All other, there are different forms of meditation being mentioned in different scriptures written by acharyas only. So we cannot deny their existence. But having said that, it is not purposeful for us. Okay. So we discussed two, but there are other kinds of meditation. At some times when you are passing through a great suffering, at that point of time, reciting Namokar mantra is a meditation for you. At least you are diverting your attention from the present problem to something. Like supposing if you are not getting sleep, okay, you start counting reverse 25, 24, 23, 22, and you will suddenly see that the worries that were stopping you from sleep, that worries has gone, because your active consciousness could be engaged in one place at a time. So now it is, if you are counting 1, 2, 3, then still thoughts will go. But now you are counting reversely, and it needs a bit of awareness. So that awareness, that attention has gone into reverse counting. So your present worries, which you are worrying, but worrying doesn't help, because things doesn't happen according to our thinking, according to our worries, according to our expectations, right? So there is no point in worrying. There is no point in suffering, nothing. Okay. So to divert your attention, this kind of sacred mantras are there. So these are different types of mantras. First one is 35 letters mantra. The next is 16, then 6, 5, 4, 2, and 1. All these are mentioned here in the explanatory notes. Pronouncing the virtues of the 5 supreme beings. This is another process. You can meditate on the sacred mantras. You can meditate on the virtues of the supreme beings. You can, you can meditate on your good events in your life. That's why psychologists say that you meditate on your 5 great occasions that you experienced in your life. So once your active consciousness get engaged in those flashbacks, then you forget about the present worries and the time goes away. They give medicines to people who have some mental problems or who are in deep anxiety, deep depressions. Particularly depression is a very raging phenomena nowadays. Every 1 out of 3 people are under depression. And there is a depression called silent depression, which people are not aware. And when it gets very hard at that time, you realize, but then it is too late. You have to get into medication. Now, what that medication does, I did a lot of research on that because like I have not been taking medicine since 15 years and I've studied a lot about the naturopathy, okay, Prakritik Chikitsa. So I am practicing naturopathy and I don't feel need of any medicines any point of time, okay. Even if I have to die, I will die naturally. I won't go into medicines. That is my inner belief, okay, and inner understanding. Because medicine doesn't work. Actually, what is the work? What is working? There are 2 factors. One is the sata and asata karma ka uday, okay. Pleasant feeling producing karma, unpleasant feeling producing karma. So if there is a pleasant feeling producing karma rise, you will feel good, whether you take medicines or you don't take medicines, okay. Whether you take allopathic medicines or you take homemade medicines. We have found out many homemade medicines through our experience for 25 more than 15 years, and we can, if you have any problem, any health issue, you just call me on phone. I will give you solution, simple solution which are available in our home, and you can do that and you will get immediate relief. But first thing is you have to have a belief. Now we have been brought up in such a manner that kuch hoga to go to doctor, and doctor will give medicines and we become good. And that has happened time and again. So we are very well convinced, we are very well developed this faith that medicine is the only solution when we get ill, okay. Now it needs a little bit of courage, it needs little bit of practice and understanding. So one factor is, unless and until feeling producing karma, pleasant feeling producing karma is there, you will not get healed. Whether you get admitted to Kokilaben Ambani Hospital or you get admitted to Hinduja Hospital, you have 100 panels of doctors, but no would be able to do anything unless and until you have pleasant feeling producing karmas rise. One factor is this. The other is you will live up to your age. Dhirubhai Ambani had 65,000 crores bank balance, but that balance could not save him because his age was over. Now, if you understand these 2 factors very clearly, you can practice naturopathy. Okay. So I have understood these factors very well, and that's why I've been able to practice naturopathy very easily, no tension. Okay. So these are sacred mantras. This just divert your attention from the present scenario. So these are all the meditations, and 35 letter is the Namokar mantra. Then 16 is, you can see in the next page, 174, the Asiddhacharya Upadhyay Sarva Sadhubhyo Nama. So these are also obeisance to the 5 Parmesthis only, 5 supreme beings. Okay. Then besides that, there is a 6 Arhant Siddh, 6 letter mantra. Then there is 5 letter mantra, A, Si, A, U, Sa. Then there is a 4 letter mantra, Arhant. Then there is a 2 letter mantra, Siddh. There is a 1 letter mantra, O. All these are different mantras. You can practice different point of time. So, as meditate on, recite or chant the sacred mantras consisting of 35, 16, 6, 5, 4, 2, and 1, pronouncing the virtues of the 5 supreme beings. Beside, meditate on and chant other mantras as per the teachings of the preceptor. Preceptor is Acharya or your Guru or Upadhyay. Okay. So this is done. Meditation is over. Now we get into 5 Parmestis, 5 supreme beings, Aryan, Siddh, Acharya, Upadhyay, Sadhu. So we have done in detail. So can I skip this 5? You will read on your own. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so now I know the answer of that object thing. Sorry,
Uh,
that time it didn't strike me.
what is it that?
So because they are Pardhavya and Pardhavya cannot give you happiness or, unhappiness.
Right. 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 So you have to practice discriminative knowledge every now and then, right? One part is, there are 2 roles happening simultaneously. One part is the soul, the other part is the body and the soul put together. So double role, okay? There is something for the soul always simultaneously along with the mind, speech and body activities, okay? So what is yours and what is not yours? What can influence the other? That all, if everything is there clear in your mind, then you are having a smooth journey. So now these 5 permissives, can we skip 5 supreme beings definition? First 50 is Arihanta, having destroyed 4 obscuring karmas and having developed 4 qualities: infinite perception. Again, here it is written faith, which is wrong. Infinite perception, infinite happiness is bliss. Bliss is a better word. Infinite knowledge and infinite power. Okay. And housed on most auspicious body, Param Avadarik Sari, because all the living beings from the body has gone away. When you manifest omniscient knowledge, the body turns into auspicious body. So there is no violence in that body. This is called Paramadik. That pure soul of the world teacher should be meditated on. So this is Aryant. Now the next verse. So you can see the 46 attributes of Aryant mentioned here. The 18 blemishes of Aryant is also mentioned here. 8 splendors, Pratiharya, that is also mentioned here. That is, you can read in the explanatory notes. The next is Sit Parmesti, liberated soul. Okay. So liberated soul has get rid of all the 8 karmas for first while becoming an Aryant, and then the 4th non-obscuring karmas has also gone, and in lieu of that 4 attributes has again been manifested. So there are in all 8 attributes of a liberated soul, and he knows the whole universe and the non-universe, lok alok, having the figure of a man's body, right? So when you get liberated, the last birth that you had is of course a man's body. A woman cannot get liberated. Again, you can prove it from here. A man's body, so okay, not a female's one. And staying eternally at the summit of the universe. That is Sit Sila, at the summit of the universe. So your shape would be the last body that you have acquired. When you leave that body, the shape will decrease a bit, contract a bit because of the gaps. We have gaps in nose, we have gaps in ears, and then we have some gaps in different parts of the body. All those gaps gets uh, uh, consolidated, and so there is a slightly less than your last modification that you have got. Siddh. Now Acharya. So Acharyas have special attributes. So those Acharyas are mostly engrossed in 5 kinds of activity, 5-fold observances in regard to faith. So here it is, faith is correct, Darshanacharya. Knowledge is Jnanachar. Power is Viryachar. Conduct is Charitrachar. So when it is always with conduct and knowledge, it is always faith. Otherwise, it is perception. And austerities, Tapachar, and guide disciples to follow these observations. So they themselves observe these and they guide disciples to follow these 5 observations. Is the chief preceptor or the Acharya worthy of meditation. Similarly, Upadhyaya. Upadhyaya have a special role to preach disciples in the congregations. So upadhyayas are teachers in the congregation. Their primary job is to study themselves and to teach others. Then last one is the ordinary monk. They don't have any responsibilities as the acharyas and upadhyayas have. So they primarily are engaged in their self, engrossed in their self. Okay. So that is 54. Solution to the ascetics: abound in faith and knowledge, who incessantly practices pure conduct that surely leads to liberation. Okay. So now the last three, 55, 56, 57. This is three related to meditation again. And then the last one is the conclusion one. Soumya, 55.
जम किंचि विचिन्तन्तो णिरीह वित्तीह वे जदा साहु लद्धूणय एयत्तं तदाहुतं तत्सणेच्छयं झाणम्.
So again, we have come back to meditation. While an ascetic, while meditating on anything worth concentrating upon. Now, this is slightly deep in the sense why we should meditate on anything and why not on soul. That is my question. So, at first level, it is always meditating on the soul. But at different levels, when you go in the higher stages, you can meditate on anything worth concentrating upon. The only objective at that point of time that you don't move, you don't ramble your active consciousness from one object to another object to another. Don't ramble, don't deviate, don't divert your attention. Okay, whatever you are observing, you keep observing, don't deviate. That is meditation. This has been explained very nicely in Moksha Marg Prakasak 7th chapter by Pandit Todarmalji. If this explanation would not have been there, then we would have many questions. Okay, but he has very explained that it is not that you have to concentrate on your soul only. You meditate on anything, but just don't deviate your active consciousness. Let it be concentrated on the same thing. Then you are manifesting passionlessness. The moment you diverge your active consciousness from one object to another object, it's called vikalp. Okay. So the vikalp is there, then nirvikalp is not there. And if you are not rambling your active consciousness, it is nirvikalp only. This has been very nicely explained in the 7th chapter of Moksha Marg Prakasak that we will anyway learn. But now, this is only understanding that I can give you. While an ascetic, while meditating on anything worth concentrating upon, gets void of all desires. Okay, gets void, gets eliminated of all kinds of desires. He is at that time surely performing real meditation. So what is austerity? Tapa. Tapa is getting rid of desires. Okay. So when you are void of desires, means you are devoid of desires, all the desires has gone, then only you are able to perform real meditation. Ichha nirodho tap. So ichha, desires, getting rid of desires is the actual austerity or the penance. Okay. Ichha nirodho tap. So, so in this, what is meditation? Meditation is the process. Okay. What is on what you are meditating is the object, that is dhyay. Okay. So your dhyay should be your soul in the initial stages. And who is dhyata? Dhyata is yourself, the meditator. Okay. So the object of meditation, the meditator, and the process of meditation all becomes one. Dhyan, dhyata, dhyay ka bhed nahi hai. You have done your homework on Chedala? I have given you, there is one point of this. Dhyan, dhyata, dhyay ka bhed nahi hai. Karta, karm, karan ka bhed nahi hai. 15 points are there. You have started? Not started, then you start today. Every weekend you put in 4-5 points, and you will complete in 2 weeks. No problem. Okay. Gets devoid of all desire. He is at that time surely performing real meditation. So this is real meditation. when you are engrossed in the self. Okay. Now 56, this is a very important words. I would request you to remember, although I have not memorized it myself, but I would recommend those of you can memorize. You can memorize this Sanskrit one and then understand the meaning also. So whenever you meditate, you can relate to this particular verse. Ma chittam. Ma means don't do. Chittam means chesta, activity of the body. Ma jampa, don't speak, don't talk. Ma chinta, don't do any chintwan. Chintwan is any thoughts. Okay. So if you are not doing, if you are not talking, if you are not doing any body activity, and if you are not doing anything in the mind, okay, then it is meditation. Okay, this is the best meditation. Ma chitta, ma jampa, ma chinta, ki vi. Kim vi, kim vi. It is actually kim vi, but it is both have been joined, but actually these two are separate words. So if it is joined, it will be kinvi, and if it is separate, then it will be kimvi. So kimvi means kuch bhi, जैन जिससे होता है, जैन होई जिससे होता है थीरो, स्थिर, stabilize, engrossed, focused. Okay. So if you don't do these three activities, you will be able to stabilize in yourself. Appa, appami. Appa is Atma. Appami, Atma में. Okay. Ravo, lean होकर. Concentrate on yourself. Okay. Atma, Atma में lean हो जाओ. Means you concentrate on yourself. You engrossed on yourself. Self-absorption. Self-realization. All this means the same. Inamev. That. यहाँ, this, यहाँ. Param, param उत्कृष्ट, supreme. How is Janam. Janam is dhyan, meditation. So this is the real meditation. Do not make bodily movements, chesta, nor utter any word, jampa. Don't say words, any words. Nor dilute the focus of mind, chintwan. Don't do any kind of thinking. Remaining engrossed in your pure self is real meditation. Okay. Hope you will remember this words and memorize it. Okay. And if you memorize, just let me know. So I will also feel motivated to memorize. It is not that I have time, but even if I memorized, I will forget it. But anyways, I am going to memorize this for myself. 57 and the last one is only a note from the author, Muniraj Nemi Chandra Siddhanti Dev. So 57, this deals with,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Can you please repeat one more time? That would be nice. How you
Which
say
one?
the last number 56, the word in
You want the
Sanskrit?
Sanskrit pronunciation?
Yes, please.
Soumya, you do it.
तव सुदवद तव
56,
सुदवद
56, 56.
ओके सर.
She wants
मा
56.
चिट्ठः मा जम्पः मा चिन्तः किं विजेण होइथिरो अप्पा अपम्मिरो क्षणमेव परं हवेच्छाणम्.
Ma chitta ma jampah ma chintah kim vijena hoy thiro appa appami rao inamev param have janam. Fine?
Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah. So 57 now. Soumya again.
तव सुद वदवं चेदात् झाणरः धुरन्धरो हवे जंहा तंहा तत्यणिर्दा तल्लद्धिये सदा होह.
So here the monk is inspiring us to indulge in this kind of auspicious activities like austerities, studying the scriptures, and observing woes. These are all very important auspicious activities, which when you do this, there is a corresponding thing happening in the soul, and they both have instrumental cause and effect relationship, right? So we are not discarding any of the activities, but we are understanding the activities in the true sense and then practicing in the right sense. Okay. The soul which practices austerities acquires knowledge of scriptures and observes vows, becomes capable of controlling the axle of the chariot of meditation. So if the axle is in your hand, you can uh, manage that chariot in the direction you want. Okay. So you are controlling the axle. So with these practices, you can control your axle of the chariot of meditation. Like you can do meditation in a proper way from outside if you are observing these practices. Okay. So always be engrossed in these three to attain that state of real meditation. So these conventional tools are being adapted to get into real meditation. Okay. So these are the tools that we use. So this is going to help you. So what is the virtues that help in meditation? Acharyas have given 8 points. These are also worth reading, but our time is almost over, but we started today 5 minutes late. So 5 minutes are left. So I will complete 58. Soumya.
दव्यसङ्गहमिणं मुनिनाः दोषसञ्चयचुधा सुदपूर्णा शोधयन्तु तनुसुत धरेण नेमिचन्दमुनिना भणितं जम्.
Let the great sages, acharyas, munis, okay, devoid of faults and abound in the knowledge of the scriptures, rectify lapses in this treatise. So, how humble would have been Nemi Chandra Siddhanti Dev that he is telling to rectify lapses, because they don't correct it again, because they are writing Tadpatra, they write it and keep it there and go away. It is the Sravak, householders, who have collected these Tadpatras and preserved it, and that's how we are getting the scriptures. Otherwise, we won't have got a single scripture. So, Acharyas and the other monks who have written these scriptures, they endured great pain while writing this. In one of the references, it has been given that the neck of the monk become bended the neck of the monk, continuously writing, and he suffered great pain, but still he had this compassionate feeling on the souls, the ignorant souls who will be coming in the future. For them, he has written the scriptures, and souls like us, we are taking the benefit of these souls. So the monk, as I said, everything does not come to your mind all the time, and there could be loss of concentration also. There could be lapses with everybody. Nobody is, I can say, exception to that. To err is human. To err is human, right? So lapses could be there with anybody. So nothing great about it. But he is humbly mentioning here that the great sages, acharyas and munis rectify lapses in this treatise Dravya Sangra composed by me, Acharya Nemi Chandra, who is deficient in knowledge. Deficient in knowledge, just imagine. So here it is written again Acharya, although this author has always mentioned that he is Acharya because he believes that Acharya is of that Gomatsar fame. But no, this is a different Acharya, and I shared one difference in the preface of that book. This was Dravya Sangra Vidhan, that book I shared last week. And in that preface, first 3-4 pages, if you read, there are given many differences between Acharya Nemi Chandra Siddhant Chakravarti and Muniraj Nemi Chandra Siddhanti Dev. So this Dravya Sangra is written by Nemi Chandra Siddhanti Dev, but Mr. Vijay Kumar Jain, the translator, has misinterpreted that, and so he's mentioning Acharya always, but he's not Acharya. Okay. So this is some difference will always be there, but we should not get indulged in this kind of differences because it hardly matters to our happiness, to our journey to path of liberation. So we should see things in the broad sense. Okay. Small things we should not get indulged in. But having said that, we should always have the right knowledge. So I hope you have enjoyed studying this Dravya Sangra, very small granth. Although we were allotted 2 hours, but we took 4 hours to complete it. And next week we will be starting 12 reflections or 12 contemplations. Very interesting topic. And I will be sharing the soft copy in a day or two. I have not shared, no?
Sir.
I have not shared, right? I don't think so I have shared because I have to go through that. It has been translated. So I will go through that. I'll do the corrections. But then again, that corrections will not come to you. So we will be correcting in the class itself. So those of you want to take a printout of the English version, you can take a printout. But the corrections will be done in class. Majorly, there are not major correction, but somewhere the chat GPT always does mistake. Humans are doing mistakes, so machine can always do mistakes because there is nobody monitoring it. Just in few seconds, the whole translation comes out. This is again very mind-boggling. You know, the Pravachan Sar, the Swamiji's Pravachan on Pravachan Sar was translated into English by one Mr. Rajesh Gandhi from Ahmedabad and his sister who is in Bombay. Her name is some Daftari, Bhairavi Daftari. Yeah. So they both of them, and this Bhairavi Daftari is also leading our translation team also. She has helped in a great ways in the translation, getting good terminologies, and she has got a good practice. So they took 8-9 years to complete Pravachan Sar's translation. And now the chat GPT has come and you can just get it done in few days. So you just can imagine. And they were assisted by Pandit Hemchandra ji from Devlali. So who was an engineer in Bharat Heavy Electricals, and he left that job to concentrate on this studies. So he all Mokshmar Prakasak has been done by him. So he has got a good level of understanding, and also he is good in English. So the translation has been done by him. So many things coming up in English. Malteji, you joined late. Today's class was very good. You just catch up on recordings, and Gia and some other are also absent, but that will always happen, you know. So this is for your homework. You have to complete that CC2 also, and this also, and for Viva, we can start from next week. Okay. Next week, Saturday evening, we will have one more extra class. So it's not compulsory to attend. We will be discussing about the um, real point of view and conventional point of view. Okay. In detail through that chart. Okay. We have already done it in Vitrag Vigyan part 3, but the Hindi students wants to know this. So I'll be taking up in Hindi and English simultaneously. Mostly next Saturday evening. I will tell you next Saturday morning what would be the time, but that is what it is planned for. But that will be an offline class, not compulsory for you, and no recording will be done. Okay. Just in case you want to join, I will share the link. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है।